Alright guys, working on the SRT today. This is 2 days after. Yesterday I really fell out of it, I tell you. After doing this job, I just didn't feel good yesterday when I woke up. Feeling much better today. It's raining again, as usual. This has got to be, it was definitely the wettest summer that we've had up here in New York in so long. And me personally, I want it to rain where the reservoirs are. It can rain over there all it wants. I can't stand when it rains all the time. It's like being in Seattle. We had a very wet spring. We're having a very wet fall, and we had the wettest summer on record. But oh well. You know, being up here in the Northeast, that just means rust, and more rust, which is something I can't stand. But anyways, all right, over here now. I got to take some measurements on this exhaust. The muffler's been discontinued for this car. We got a muffler problem. It's broken at the seam, so I'm actually going to attempt to use some muffler paste and see what happens. Just for as a get-by for now. I have a MagnaFlow muffler that it looks like it's a universal. I believe it should fit no problem. It'll go with the MagnaFlow cats that are on it right now. Nice 3-inch. This car uses 2.75-inch piping, kind of an awkward number. But, yeah, because everything you ever see is always 2.5 or 3-inch. So I'm going to get under there now, take the measurements to make sure before I order the muffler. And in the meantime, I'm going to try to put some of that paste just to hold off until I get the part and I get under here to get a chance to do it. So we're going to go and get started on this today. I got to take the measurements on this, see if I use that muffler paste. I'll get back with you guys after I put some of that on if I end up doing it that way and trying. And I wasn't going to, but this thing is super loud. I go to work at 4:30 in the morning. So when I turn this thing on in the morning right now, the way it is, you know, I don't want the neighbors, because I'm not that guy, even though people around here are very nosy, especially when you're a car guy, thanks to other car guys, like, that like to make all this noise all the time. I do not. I keep everything quiet, or during the daytime. So this thing is pretty loud right now, because it's basically an open exhaust with that muffler. It's completely blown open, so I'm going to see if that could help me out a little bit. Once I get that done, I can't wait to drive it, but it's got to sit for 24, I believe, for this stuff to cure. This JB Weld stuff. Not a sponsor. I don't have any sponsors, if this even ever makes it onto the damn channel. So that'll be the test. We'll try it out. Like I said, I'm not really too familiar with using stuff like that. You know what I mean? I used it before on the Focus, but on the other video you guys saw, that was the quick steel to rebuild that flange. That worked beautifully. I was actually very pleasantly surprised by that. So we'll get on this, try to get this done. I love this truck, but I tell you, some of the stuff is really annoying because it's such a low production number truck that it has a lot of parts that were only specifically made for it, so they tend to be expensive when you do find them, and that pisses me off a little bit, actually, to be very frank with people. All it is a WK. It's a Grand Cherokee. Yeah, it's got the 6.1. You know, the other one had a 5.7, a regular WK, the limited or whatever. So, all right, so you got the 6.1. Okay, got some more balls to it. You know, but you're telling me that all these other parts they completely engineered just this car by itself? No, they didn't. A lot of the stuff is actually interchangeable. I've been finding that out little by little. One of the most recent things was the rear shocks on this thing, which I did video. The shocks that I got actually a slightly different part number, but they're still Bilstein, and when I drove it, it felt fine, and they were a fraction of the cost of what they want for the quote-unquote Bilsteins that were for this truck only. I don't want to lower the truck, and I do not want to put Albacks or QA1 on it. You know, we don't have the funds for that right now. If I could, I would love to put QA1, don't get me wrong, and go all out to actually do more here, but we'll see how all this stuff goes, you know what I mean? I got a job in between. Got to go to work, got to do my other things. I'm trying to do this, you know, help people out and whatever, and we'll see what happens. If it takes off, it takes off. If not, still fun to do. The hardest thing is for me to remember to grab this camera and record every time, you know, because I'm used to just coming out here and getting my job done. So let me get started on that, and I'll get back with you guys. All right? Take care. All right, underneath here now, kind of show you what I'm working with. All right, this exhaust pipe up here, from this X forward to the cats, that's a MagnaFlow 3-inch. So that's what I've been trying to find to get here. This is a 2.75 right here, the muffler, and back over the rear axle to the resonators back there. Trying to just get this muffler right now. The rest of the piping is still okay, still in good shape. The issue we're having here, excuse this camera here, trying to move around, not too much room to maneuver with here, and trying to find that muffler is the issue. I believe I found a MagnaFlow. That's a 3-inch in and out. So we'd have to go from here, get some 3-inch couplers to it. 3-inch flanges, rather. I got to take the measurement on this bad boy, though. 3-inch flanges, see how far I can go, because I think it's like 22 inches and 28 overall on the MagnaFlow. And that bend back here will be where there's a little bit of a problem, but we'll see what we got to do to make it work. For the most part underneath here, considering it's a Northeast truck, and it was by saltwater all the time, everything looks pretty damn good underneath here. More stuff towards the back, more rust in the upper back there, but that's not too bad. So one of these days I got to get under here. I need to change these rear control arms, so I want to put polyuro in and chassis save all this stuff, so that way we keep it the way it is, because I don't ever plan on getting rid of this truck. This is why you don't use pinch welds to lift up heavy vehicles. See what it does? Now that's going to be a problem come in the future years. I'll try to do something with it to get in there and try to slow it down, but that's already started. See how bent up this is? Your chassis is right here. Pick it up from here, or here, or here. Why are you going to jack it from here? This is if you're going to do one tire. That's it. This truck doesn't even come with a jack. So it's funny that it even has the pinch welds. But again, that goes to what I said about it being a WK chassis. But anyways, back to this. So this is the Swiss cheese I'm working with. I'm going to try, again I say try, to use some of this muffler paste. I already hit it with the wire wheel. And just try to save on it for a little bit. Only enough until I get the muffler in. But, you know, this will be a little get me by until then. And then we'll be back under here doing this. So, let me try to get this JB Weld mixed up and see if it'll work. Then I got to let it sit for 24 hours, which is another pain in the ass. But I want it to work, so I'll leave it alone. It's raining outside anyway, nothing else to do today. So, let's get started on that. I don't think I really need to record that. You mix the stuff together, you mush it into here, try to get it into the seam nice, and let it cure. That's basically it. I cleaned this off with the wire wheel. I really don't think you need to clean this off anymore. I'll wipe it down with a rag, but I'm not going to put anything on the rag. Why introduce more stuff that can make it, you know, rust more? It doesn't even say to do that. It says just clean it off a little bit with a wire wheel, etc. So that's what we're going to do. I'll get back with you guys when I'm basically, I guess, done with that. All right? And like I said, it's just mix it. It comes in a little jar, as you guys saw. And then you work it into these crevices in here and into these holes. And then it should cure and it should plug it for a little bit. Some people claim they get a year out of it. Some people say 6 months. I have muffler wrap too. I don't know if I'll go ahead and use that. That might be better for this, but this seam itself needs to be completely filled with the putty instead. I think that's the only way that's going to work. So, until then, I'll get back. Hey guys, this is what it looks like after you mix this stuff up and put it on. It was taking a little while. These holes were pretty big, especially in this seam. After it's set up a little bit, I got a couple of pinholes here and there. I actually don't think that'll be a bad thing, because that'll help relieve some of the pressure, and it won't make a big difference in noise at all, as long as the major holes are sealed up. Took all the measurements I need. I believe that MagnaFlow that I looked at will work, but for now, this is going to hold off until I order that and get those. Battery died. Had to swap it over. Thank you, GoPro. Anyways, we had to go under here. It was taking a while to set up because this stuff has to be at a certain temperature, and being up here northeast, it's getting a little cool now. So it was taking a while. So I went ahead and got the heat gun and put it on it. As the heat gun gets onto it, like I said before, it started to make a couple little gaps here as it dries up. Not a big deal. Those will be small pinholes maybe, where something will escape through. But in all seriousness, that's probably a good thing if you want this stuff to hold. This was a very big hole, and a little difficult to actually get in there to stay. Once it got soft, I got a little hard. I kept on having to go like this to push it back up and try to get it back in there, like doing spackle. But this is 90 degrees. I mean, horizontal to the ground, so it's gonna tend to want to come out. But once I put the gun on it, it also, you'll notice when the gun gets on it, it bubbles up. But as it bubbles, that's when it's setting and it gets hard. This stuff takes about 4 hours to set, 24 hours for the full cure. Gonna definitely need that for the 24 hours on this because it's a little cool, like I said. So it's gonna have to sit like this, stay on the jack stands, and we'll try to check it tomorrow. So this will sit here, still soft. I can still feel this as I'm pushing there a little bit, but at least now it should stay there. I'll put a little more heat onto it, and that should help it cure. And we'll come back to it tomorrow and see how it turned out. Hopefully it's a good repair. It's going to be a temporary repair. It's not a permanent repair. So, but to get us by till we get the parts in and could do the other job on it, that's what we're going to have to do for now. I'm dying to drive this thing too after I did those front bushings. I know it's going to make a big difference in this thing. So, until next time, guys, I'll get back with you guys in 24 hours and we'll see how it came out. And as it usually is the case, when I start doing something and I see something else and I start messing with that, we start getting into it. I need to go underneath this entire truck, like I said, and go on all these little seams that you see that have little bits of rust and whatnot. I hated this here where it was jacked up before from with a jack all this way to this car on this little pinch weld. No. So I hit it with a wire wheel, I hit it with a brush, then I hit it with some rust converter, then some etching primer, and then a little bit of flat paint over it. I have to do that all around the truck. I did a very little bit here, but not enough. As you can see, it's still right there, but we'll get back to that little bit there. But all the other spots that I see, like in here, this is just from being up here in the Northeast. This isn't too bad. The back is worse. In between up there, if you guys can see it, is actually worse up there. But you got to tack all those little seams and whatnot if you have any intent on trying to keep the thing going, like I do. For it. This is just a regular subframe piece here, but I do not like how it looks in there. That looks horrible. So we'll see what that's about. I don't know why it looks like that. I don't know why this ground is here and not used anymore, and there's another one right there on the transmission. I have no idea what the hell those were for. This is I'm only the second owner of this truck. I bought it from the original owner, my boy. And he was going to get rid of it. I said, no, you can't just get rid of that, dude. I tried to convince him to hold on to it, but he wasn't hearing it, so I said, I'll take it. Going back to this is now probably an hour and a half. Pretty hard now already, but I'm going to wait the full 24 before I try to run it. And it looks and feels like it will hold. As long as you follow it, the directions correctly, it should hold no problem. And if that does, we'll be able to rock with this a little bit longer. But I already have all the measurements I need so I could go in and do what I got to do with the ordering of the muffler or the straight pipes, whichever one I'm going to end up doing. And that's about it. But, this is up here in the Northeast, man. To me, this is like when I can't sleep at night because of stuff like this. It drives me insane. But I don't have enough time right now to go through this whole car. This would probably be a 2 or 3 day type of ordeal to go into all this, hit this with wire brush. You don't want to go down to bare metal. You want to scuff the rust off because you need some of the rust for the rust converter to work. But I do want to go under this car with some chassis saver and go under the entire car with it, the whole truck. The back subframe is completely rusted to shit. Just like the axle, typical axle, but that's much thicker steel back there. But the actual frame and chassis of the car is pretty damn good considering it's been up here and it lived right by the water because my buddy's backyard was water. He lived right by Jamaica Bay and all you have over there is all just seawater. And that's what this car was subjected to all the time. So considering it's not bad at all the lines are coated, thank goodness, not like it used to be back in the day with the other cars. And that's about it. I saw this, I had to attack it. Had to get in there. I was like, I got to do this. This was all like kind of salt spray-ish here. I hit it with the wire wheel, but it went straight to bare metal quick because this is just primer here, man. I don't know why they don't undercoat or paint these cars underneath and then coat them with something better, but I guess I do because they want you to buy a new truck, so they don't make things to last anymore or, don't even think about it. It's up to us to keep the car community going and holding on to some of these, you know, unique cars and things like Mustangs, SRTs, Camaros, Corvettes, you know, Chevelles. But I hit this. Once I hit that, I had to get the primer out and hit it with the extreme primer because it was bare metal. I had to prime it. I had to. This isn't a paint job here, you know what I mean? So we just sprayed it with some primer. I didn't even scuff up the primer. Just hit it. Couple of coats of self-etching. Then I hit it with some flat enamel. The other stuff that I hit with the wire brush, I didn't go to bare metal. I just hit that with some rust converter. Then hit it with the self-etching primer and then a little bit of the enamel. And this is just off-the-counter stuff. Just stuff that I have lying around. That's all that is. And that's about it. Like I said, I want to get around to doing this entire truck underneath because I plan to keep this truck for forever. So that's about it right now. We'll get back to it tomorrow. We'll do a startup, see what happens. It should hold up. All right, guys, we're back in the garage again. Yeah, so we got this JB Weld curing up. Got the hit that paint and everything else drying up down there. If anybody in the comments has any good product for me, I really need a product to use on this goddamn garage floor because I'm sick of this shit, to put it bluntly. This garage is always dusting. This floor is always dusting. See? Gets on my clothes, and I know I'm inhaling this shit. And I know it's not good. Because sometimes I gotta admit, I feel like my lungs have had a little bit of a hard time with the with breathing a little bit sometimes. When I take a deep breath, I'm like, great. God forbid I've taken how many years off my life with this shit, but I try not to make as much dust as possible when I'm working on the cars, of course, but, you know, we can't control that. But some will always get up, and everything in here is always dusty. I really need to seal this garage floor with something. I just don't know what product to do, and I know it's going to be a real pain with everything in place now, because it took me a bit to get this organized the way I did back here, and I still got to go through and get it more organized. Yeah, so, we're letting that cure, and we're doing this. I really got to get that Mustang out. I want to drive that car so much, so bad. I had an injury to my leg shortly after I got it. I was out of work for a long time. And then finally, then COVID hit, and when I was healing, and we're still in the midst of all that mess, so hopefully soon I'll be able to take her out. I really want to enjoy that car, but here we are going into winter, and it's not going to come out in the winter. Well, I mean, as long as there's no salt on the ground, maybe, but I don't think that'll be this year. But that's it. That's the project right now with this truck. Hopefully that holds, and I'll be ordering those pipes, as I said, and we'll get started with that, and we'll see what else. I think I might put a catch can in this thing. I don't know why all these modern cars need catch cans, you know, but it's true. They always have their intakes full of oil. My BMW's the same way. I don't know. Sometimes they think they're doing better, but they're not, you know, so, like direct injection, right? That whole mess with that. Sure, it's great, everything is fuel economy, okay. No performance really from it, just fuel economy. Better atomization of the fuel. It doesn't do anything other than have to do with emissions. So, at 50,000 miles, you just got to tear apart the whole engine and clean the intake valves. It's good, great system. But, that's my opinion on that. I don't know, we'll see. Everything's going electric anyway, right? So we'll see how that all works out. I hope this music isn't really coming through and I'm talking over it because, you know, I don't need that issue either. Put a video up and have it taken down because, oh my God, you're playing music. I don't understand how that's even an issue. As long as you're, you know, they're getting free advertising as far as I think. I mean, that's regular public radio, so I don't know, whatever. So hopefully we got a lot of stuff in store, little by little. You know, like I said, I gotta get a piece of my roof fixed or a section of my roof that I really would like to try to tackle myself, to be honest with you, but I just don't have the time. And now going into the fall and winter, before you know it, there'll be snow on the ground up here, you know, so I got to do a small repair on my boiler, as usual. I have to change a pressure relief valve. Every couple of years I got to do it. It's a pain in the ass, but whatever. It's easy. It's 1, 2, 3, right? But, yeah, hopefully we'll get that done, could get that going. I wouldn't mind. I'm not a big fan of cold air intakes. I don't know. I used to be back in the day, but in all seriousness, I really don't feel they do much of anything anymore. I don't know. But I'm thinking of putting a cold air intake in this truck. Of course, as usual, they want $400, $500 for one, which I think is insane for a tube that a filter screws onto, right? You attach a filter to it with a clamp, and you may have a hole for your mass air or whatever, maybe, or inlet air temperature sensor. It's just a tube. They want $500 for it. I don't know. Doesn't make any damn sense. But whatever. I'd rather spend $500 on maybe, I don't even know these days, to be honest with you. Maybe an intake? I know you could get a small block Chevy intake. Used to be able to for around that much or less. But, anyways. Hopefully, I'll probably do that because the clips are missing on this airbox. I'm using an actual clamp. The original owner somehow lost the clips for the air filter. How the hell he did that, I don't know. He also lost one of the key fobs in a drain one day. I don't know how the hell he did that either. But fell out of his hand, it was raining, and flew into the sewer, he said. I was like, oh, great. So, I only have one damn key fob for this stupid thing. I bought some other ones, but I'm going to try to program it one day, see how that works. I'm not going to be able to cut the key, but at least to program it where I can hit the button to open the doors is all I want. And, maybe a cold air intake on this thing. I'd like to get the rear arms. I'm trying to source some control arms with polyurethane bushings, but the only ones I can find are adjustable. I tend to not like adjustable, but I may have to go that way. So, we'll see on this truck. I'd like to get them. The ones that I'm looking at, they'll have a curve to them. A little weird. These, because the arms in this truck, the uppers and lowers are just straight. So I don't know why they have a curve in those particular ones I see or found that are more affordable. The other ones that I found are the same as what's in there now. Excuse me, guys. I got some grit in my eyes, as usual. But, I wanna change them to stiffen up the rear a little bit. I can't wait to drive this truck. I gotta wait at least 24 hours for this thing to clear, so I'll drop it down, idle it. Hopefully it's all good and I can take it for a spin and see. Because these are the bushes that came out of it. There you go. This one came out completely by hand, the center section. That was the upper one that was completely destroyed. This one wasn't really too bad. It was a little cracked, and this one was actually still okay, even though it looks like shit. It was okay, but we got all polyurethane brand new, all three of them, so I will not have to do that again anytime soon. And should be a big difference. So, any ideas, any comments or anything, I'm welcome. I welcome all. See what you guys got to say. Try to get this channel up and going pretty good. As you see, I work on a variety of vehicles, and I own all these crazy cars. So, all my tools, everything, none of this is sponsored. This is all stuff from years and years of just working on cars and slowly but surely building up my stuff that I need. So, yeah. We'll have some Camaro content coming hopefully soon. I've been trying to get to that car for years now. I think we all kind of know how that feels. To the point of where I've considered getting rid of it sometimes, and I just can't do it because I'm like, it's a third gen. It's my Camaro. That was my daily driver for years. You know, so I just can't do it. As much as sometimes I get frustrated, I'm like, I gotta do it, you know, so I really want to bring that car back. I mean, put the key in it right now. Starts right up. No problem, you know. Good old 305. Yeah, it's a 305. I think I want to play with that a little bit, too. Not the usual 350 stuff like I did with the other car. That's why that 305 is sitting on that stand. So, in essence, we'll have two engines to blow up. But we'll see. I'd rather not blow them up, but hey, you never know. I really would like to try to get that Camaro up to take it to the track. And go with my buddy. My buddy goes to the track. I have my Trans Am I can take. I got this Mustang, but I don't know. Some people say even track this thing. It's really okay, but it's not a stick. I kind of feel like you really need a manual transmission. You know, although they got all these double clutch, dual clutch, paddle shift automatics these days that shift really well. Kind of basically like a stick, but it's just not a stick without a third pedal, right? I don't know. That's just the way I feel, guys. But that's the problem with my third gens. My two third gens are automatics. They're both 700 R4s. I wouldn't mind putting a stick in there, trying to swap it. Never did it before. So that would be something maybe to try to tackle. But we'll see. Of course, this is always, you know, the usual dreams, I guess, and ideas that come to mind. But, you know, we all go there. We all have these things we want to do and want to try. So, excuse me. And that's that. So, like I said, I'll have a lot more content, a lot of different things when I can make these videos, I will. It all depends really how everything goes. If everything starts going well, maybe I could make more, do more, we'll see. But for right now, there's plenty on the table. I got heads I got to put into the other car. I got a little bit of body work here and there to take care of, a little bit of spraying. Spraying is a little difficult in the winter, you know, because it's getting cold, but some of the stuff that I got to do is kind of small stuff, so, you know. Hopefully it could be done with a heat gun, maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. If not, I got to wait till next year, as usual. But, I mean, I got, like, how many different things that I want to paint next year? Who knows? So, I might be doing... Well, we'll leave it up and see. If I do whatever I do, I'll try it, of course. I'll try to videotape it and get going with it. So, that's enough of my ranting for now, guys. Let me know if you got any ideas or anything that you guys would like to see, and I'll see if I could try to accommodate you guys, alright? In the shop, it's actually 2 days later. I had to take care of some stuff yesterday. Wasn't able to get wrenching on the truck, so she's been up on jack stands like this. So now it's going to be the first start. So it's had 2 days to cure. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty good down there. I used a heat gun the first day, and then it's been sitting here for 2 days, so it's got to be definitely cured. I'm hoping you guys could see right here. There you go. I think I got it there. It looks pretty good. So we're going to start it up, and we're going to see if this stuff works. Hope to get a little time out of it. The muffler's on its way, but this is just to hold it till I could get a chance to wrench on it. The new muffler's on its way. I have a welder, but it's a crappy Harbor Freight welder. I wasn't able to pick up that welder that I was looking at. That was such a great deal. The guy even had the aluminum spool gun and everything. I'm not great at TIG welding. I actually like oxyacetylene welding, and I've done stick welding. But to really get used to this MIG stuff, I haven't done enough of it. So I went ahead and bought this little cheapie that everybody seems to get. And I've used it once or twice for a couple of exhausts. I do not want to weld this exhaust. If I had a better welder, I might say to hell with it. So I'm sourcing clamps and everything else to try to do this without welding it. But with the reducers and everything else, it's really becoming a pain in the ass. Not for nothing. I'm spending more or just as much money buying the reducers and clamps than I did for the damn welder. I mean, I'm sorry, for the, actually, even a welder. A muffler costs more than the welder. But anyways, all that's coming. I got to get the reducers and stuff, but hopefully this will hold for now. And let me get the keys and see what it sounds like, and it doesn't blow itself out right away. I'm hoping it works, so, because this is really a pain. Because right now it's just a little bit too loud, and I don't want my neighbors to start complaining. I'm not that guy that sits around revving his motor and making all this noise, though. I work on my cars, but I don't bother nobody. Let's see. A little cold start. It's probably not going to sound that great from here, but... There we go. Sounds like we're getting a little rattling back there that I never noticed before. But it hasn't had the exhaust going through the rear in a while. So let's get under here and see if anything blew out immediately. Or if it actually held. You can hear She sounds great at 6.1 through a muffler. I was gonna straight pipe it, but that would probably be too damn loud, so I went ahead and decided to go ahead and put a muffler in. Like it held. We got a little water from here because I had a little pinhole. I'm okay with that, but it still sounds a little loud. Oh, we got a massive hole up here apparently that I didn't know was up here. Right over here I'm feeling hot air. This muffler's pretty much Swiss cheese. Oh boy, oh yeah, right over here. I can feel it, but I can't feel the hole, but I can feel the air coming, bouncing off of the heat shield. So there is still a hole on top of the muffler. So it looks like this held down here, but it doesn't look like there was a bigger problem that was unknown to me. Well, like I said, the muffler's on its way. I do have muffler tape. I don't think I'll be using that though, because they don't really give you much of that, and you see the size of this muffler. This muffler is massive. Massive. So that kind of sucks, but that's how it is. Working on cars, right? That's how it is. We all been there. We all know that. So, great. Just great. Oh, boy. Gotta love it. Got to love it. All right, guys. Let me see what we end up doing with this. I'll get back with you guys. Guys, can't do much but laugh about it, but that pisses me off because I let this thing stay up for 2 days. Now I gotta go back to work tomorrow, and I won't be able to mess with this. I think I'm gonna try one last thing, and this cures a lot quicker than the other things. And I bought this as well. I've never used it. This is supposed to be the JB Weld exhaust weld wrap. Try to wrap this around. Thing is, that muffler's massive. They only give me 72 inches. So that muffler's about 11 inches wide and then 5 high. So I might get 3 wraps out of it if I'm lucky. They say to put 5 layers where you can. It's not going to get 5 layers. So we're going to try to put it on there. Let it sit for a little bit. I don't know if I could even, I guess I'll try to rough it up a little bit with a little bit of sandpaper. I can't believe it that I hit those holes. I started the damn thing and I can't believe that. I mean, the hole on the top is like the size of a golf ball or bigger. That muffler is Swiss cheese. I knew the bottom was bad, but I thought that's where all the noise was coming from. Oh boy. Typical Northeast. Anyways, the new muffler's coming, but I want to try to get something in here. Not that I drive this truck every day, but I want to be able to use it if I want to. You know, I enjoy driving it. So I usually drive one of the other dailies, either the BMW or the Buick. But, you know, take the Trans Am very rarely. But that car's about to be up for all of winter now till next spring. And yeah, hopefully I'm not making you guys dizzy by walking around. I can't help it. I always walk around when I'm talking here. But, yeah, we'll try to need that. Try to use it. Might as well. I bought it to try to use it because I thought it was going to be something else. But we'll go ahead. Try to wrap it. I hit it with a little bit of sandpaper and see. It's also very difficult to reach up there because it's up against the frame or the bottom of the chassis, the cabin. So I'm gonna go in there, try to reach it a little bit, see if I can roughen it up a little bit. I mean, it's rough enough, but I'll try to roughen it up a little bit and see if I can shoot a little brake cleaner in there like I cleaned the other part. And I don't use the water on there, I use the brake cleaner. So every mechanic's best friend. So anyways, I'll get under there, I'll hit it, we'll see. I've never used these products before, by the way. The paste seems to have held, but in all honesty, the paste doesn't have didn't get the full brunt of the exhaust yet until it's sealed. It feels like there's 2 holes up there. One really big one that I think if I could cover at least that one, it'll be quieter for sure. That's the big one. And then there's a smaller one. That'll be, I mean, if I could get it just, like I said, I just want to lower the decibels a little bit so I could drive it without waking up the neighborhood when I'm off to work, as early as I go to work. And that's it. Then I got to figure out the rest of the exhaust situation and get that up there. So, the exhaust, as I mentioned before, is pretty pricey for this thing. Trying to keep it on a budget. Got the MagnaFlow, the muffler. I got it for about 180 bucks. But I got to get the couplers because I got 2.75 to 3-inch tubing. Unfortunately, the cats are 3-inch tubing. I was trying to find flanges. Maybe I'll still go that route, but I got to take a look. So far, only the muffler's ordered. So my head's been spinning with all the clamps, the flange clamps, the saddle clamps, this clamp, that clamp, butt clamp, lap belt, lap joint clamp. I'm like, I just get overwhelmed like the hell with this. So we'll let me get to it, and I'll get back to you guys hopefully when this whole damn crap is sorted out. All right, guys, take care. I'll pop in and out. Don't worry.